Hi there. I just thought I'd give a review of Rogue One, this new Star Wars movie, which I just saw last night. Um, yeah, really enjoyed it. So, because I'll give an overall review first, and then I'll go on to spoilers later. So you don't have to worry about spoilers just at the moment. I'll get to them eventually, but at the moment I'll just talk about my general impressions of the movie. I'd give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was quite enjoyable. I liked all the new characters. They were interesting and held my interest. One problem that I had when watching it, and I don't know if it was just in the cinema I was in or if it was a problem with the movie, but for the first part of it I found it difficult to understand the dialogue a lot of the time. May have been because of accents, it may have been just the cinema I was in didn't have that great sound, but it made it hard to work out from the start exactly what was happening sometimes because I couldn't quite catch what everyone was saying. That was my only real general criticism about it. Certainly the story was reasonably complex and took a bit of keeping up, so maybe not entirely on the same level as Star Wars, which I think, or the Star Wars trilogies generally, which are more understandable. But yeah, it was good fun, great to watch, great to see a lot of tie-ins with the original trilogy, especially A New Hope, and that was a lot of fun to watch, and to watch all the things that were happening. And I've actually had to make a list of all the new characters so I can remember their names, so I mention the right people, because there were a lot to take in. Okay, I'm going to move on to spoilers now, so if you don't want to know what happens, please stop watching, because I'll be talking about the storyline. Okay, I liked Jyn Erso's character. I found her interesting. Felicity Jones did a pretty good job. There were a couple of times when I thought maybe she missed the mark a little bit, but generally speaking, she was fantastic. And I liked seeing her origins, seeing her dad. Let me check what his name, Galen, that's right, Galen Erso, in his journey to being the designer of the Death Star. That was really interesting to watch as well, and see her struggle. And I don't know how old she was meant to be at the start there, but pretty young to go through something as devastating as she did. Then, of course, you had her going immediately to an older age where she's a prisoner and is rescued by resistance people, the rebellion, I should say, and going to work for them, I suppose, in trying to find her father, to try and find out what he's done, because of course Rebellion thinks he's evil, so want to kill him for what he's done in designing the Death Star, this new super weapon that they've discovered. So that was an interesting development. I liked Cassian Andor, really like his name, it's so cool, and I thought he was a very good and very interesting character. Forrest Whitaker, of course, as Saw Gerrera, I hope that's right, was interesting. I was disappointed he wasn't in it more, actually, but yeah, he was good with what little he had to do. And of course, the standout character was, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, Chirrut Imwe, the Asian guy with the really cool stick who fought everyone even though he was blind, and he had some of the best lines too, when they, like that one stage they're trying to they put bags over their heads so they don't know where they're going. He says, "Are you kidding? I'm blind. Why do you need to do it?" Which I thought was hysterical, and that was fantastic. And I liked his sidekick too, whose name was Baze Malbus. That was him, wasn't it? I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. And I liked the way those two interacted and fed off each other too. And the pilot, Bodhi Rook, deserves a mention too, because I really liked his character, and I thought he had a bit of a hard go of it at the start, when everyone thinks he's, or at least Forrest Whitaker's character thinks he's lying and all that, and he seems to be pretty much on the level the whole time. So I liked him and his dedication. Yeah, so that was really good, and I enjoyed the the early fighting sequences. I thought they were well done and very interesting. And interesting to see Ben Mendelsohn's character interact, and of course the interaction being so amazing, which was of course to me the standout part of the film, which was where it tied in to the original trilogy, because he's going on not the Death Star, on the Star Destroyer, I think it was, and you see him approaching a man who's, you only see his back, and I looked at him at his back and I said, "That's Peter Cushing." And I'm going, whoa, are we just going to see his back and maybe hear someone's done his voice? But no, turn around and there he is. He looked a little plastic around the face, perhaps at times, but very convincingly done. It's hard to believe it was not Peter Cushing, to such an extent where I was almost wondering if his boots were pinching his feet, because of course there's that story from the original trilogy that Peter Cushing wore carpet slippers whenever his feet weren't in shot because his shoes were too tight, and I kept wondering if he was comfortable, that, you know, because it looked so realistic. And it was wonderful to see Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One, because of virtual reality and what they can do today with face replacement and things. That was fantastic. I loved seeing that. Of course, Darth Vader was there too with his real kicking butt scene at the end there too. That was good, and showing the general awe that his character has come to portray. And James Earl Jones still doing his voice, which was fantastic too. I will say I missed John Williams' music. The music was okay. I felt there was a bit much of it at times. But yeah, generally speaking, I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, the Star Wars tie-ins were the highlight really for me. I kept seeing things in the battle at the end. You hear dialogue between Red Leader and Gold Leader that's lifted straight from A New Hope, and I kept wanting to say the lines from A New Hope at the end because I could hear them in my head when those lines came across. The battle at the end, of course, was fantastic, and led to the conclusion that I thought they might go in that direction with this particular trilogy. Oh, I forgot to mention, of course I should have mentioned K2SO, the droid, the reprogrammed Imperial droid. I should have mentioned him earlier. Fantastic! So funny. He was such a scream. I loved him. Honestly, he made C-3PO look, old hat, because he was so great and so engaging. I loved seeing him perform. And yeah, but as I said, I was expecting it sort of to go the way it did in the storyline. I won't give away exactly what happens. But at the end, of course, it's fantastic to see Princess Leia's ship come out of the ruined cruiser, Rebellion cruiser or whatever. Someone will tell me what kind of ship it was. And to come out of there, as soon as I saw the lines of the ship, I saw, oh, that's Princess Leia's ship from the beginning of A New Hope. And it's like, wow. And then, of course, I had to wonder, were we actually going to see her? And sure enough, same thing, digitally face replaced Princess Leia with her voice and her face as she appeared in A New Hope. And that was fantastic. It was great. I went with a friend of mine and we're sitting there whispering in each other's ears every time something happened. We go, oh, that's from this, that's from that. It was really great to see it tie in so effectively. I was a little sad with the way it went too, because I really wanted a bit more. But it's certainly a very positive sign of what Disney can do with a franchise, and I'm hoping to see heaps more. I'm really looking forward to the Han Solo movie when it comes out, and of course Episode 8 next year. That is next year, isn't it? Which I'm hoping will have a lot more of Luke than Episode 7 did. It better. And he better not die, or else I'll be very upset. But yeah, generally really enjoyable movie, and one I think is well worth seeing again. So thanks so much for watching. Go and see it if you haven't already, and let me know what you think of it. I'd be happy to hear any opinions, and we can have a discussion about all the pros and cons of the movie. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.